friends, it's Dennis Nappy II here with Sixth Sense Media, and the remote viewing journey continues. I'm going to go through my world events predictions for the month of November 2022. I'm a little bit behind getting it out. Today's date is November 6th, 2021. It's 9:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I did this session on November 2nd, 2021, so I was already in the month of November, but that doesn't really matter. I'm still looking ahead to see what's happening. I have a quick review of my target contact from my predictions that I did on September 28th, 2021, looking at what was going to happen in October. And I'm pretty pleased with some of the results that I had. I see a lot of room for improvement, but I think I pulled some elements of some of the stories that were out there. So I'm going to share that with you first, because that's pretty exciting for me as I see this journey continue. And I'm starting to feel more comfortable as a viewer with my world events. With that being said, I'm sure I'll have some more rough sessions ahead of me. But here's my let me just share here what. So here's my presentation here, my feedback for October world events predictions. All right. So the first one that I had was, I'm calling it the blimp here, and I had this large round gray object just floating down an area, large structure surrounding it. And it just felt weird. There was nothing really crazy about it. It wasn't like a UFO sighting. It wasn't anything military. I just thought like, hey, I thought maybe a runaway blimp or runaway balloon. That didn't happen this month. And I thought that's okay, whatever. Maybe it was just my imagination. But this one I felt pretty clearly about. So I was doing some searches today, just random Google searches for some data. And I found this article. This came from Wassaw Pilot and Review.com, Wassaw Pilot and Review.com. Today in history. Today is Friday, October 15th, the 288th day of 2021. And what it says here was that in 2009, a report of a 6-year-old Colorado boy trapped inside a runaway helium balloon engrossed the nation before the boy, Falcon, was found safe at home in what turned out to be a hoax. His parents served up to a month in jail. That's the great thing that I saw. So I'm going to chalk that up as that's probably the story I was getting. What's odd to me as I go through this feedback, though, is this story is not a big deal. It's not making major headline news. It's not any big thing. I mean, maybe there's a site memory from 2009 on the anniversary when this happened because it was such a big deal. And that little article was enough to trigger my attention. I'm not sure. I vaguely remember this happening. But there it is. You can see there's my drawing of it, and there's the silver balloon right there. So I guess that's my target contact with that one. Maybe I'm stretching. Let me know. This was cool. Maybe not so cool. I think this started out as a building collapse, which I think did happen in India. I had some initial data. I think I had two events in one on the previous page of this, but I'm not going to go through the other part of it. But I drew this religious structure. I put the cross on it. On the previous page of this data, I wrote church. And I had dead, cold, sad, scared, AOL children. Is it poisoning? Is it a cult? I had Branch Davidians as an AOL, just comparing it to that. And I had 1, 2, 3 bodies lying around this structure. That's important because then I get here 3 people dead after Jamaican police raid cult compound on fear of ritualized killings. That was published October 18th, 2021. Now, what's interesting about this, they were planning ritualistic killings. And in my remote viewing session, I asked what's most interesting about this to me. And it was about the leader and how he motivated people to do things. When I started reading about him, he had convinced people that one of the church members was a goat, and they slit her throat and were trying to cut her head off or something crazy like that. So I'll take that as my target contact with that. This one, again, I'll say I had some kind of target contact, but it was tough finding really solid feedback on this helicopter crash. I had this mountain, this very clear mountain, and then a person calling for help, and the helicopter hitting the mountain. And then here we have a New York pilot killed near the state park in Hudson Valley. He was identified as 73-year-old Arthur Church. And that's a picture of the mountain there. So I figured maybe that's what I was seeing there. And then here again, here's the article from October 11th. Long Island man identified as a pilot killed in the helicopter crash. So I had some other drawings on here. A woman with like, shoulder length gray hair. I couldn't find any images of that. There were also 3 or 4 other helicopter stories in the news this month. None, I don't think, involved the mountains. Some were military in nature and they were over the ocean. Some were bodies being recovered. So this is the closest one I had. So again, I'll take that as elements of the story. I'd like to improve and be able to gather more data about these sessions now that I'm getting snapshots of them. So, all right, last one. This was after my remote viewing session was done. I was doing yoga and I saw this headline: TikTok viral blogger dies. Was it an overdose? Was it a prank gone wrong? Well, we had that happen twice. We had Huey Haha Memorial. He's a TikTok comedian. He died at the age of 22. I'm not sure exactly how he died. Haven't found that out yet, but that was one. And then the other one, this happened at the very end of September, the 30th. This was posted. I had my session on the 28th. TikToker Gabrielle Salazar died in a fiery car crash after a police chase, report says. I think this is the one that I was picking up on in my session here. So there you have it, friends. The feedback there from last month. I think I did okay. But again, I'm patting myself on the back. I had target contact, but I really think I want to hone my practice and be able to get more details, because right now it's like, yeah, you could make guesses every month and possibly get some of this stuff right. So I'd like to get a little bit more specific data as I work on my future sessions. So I'm going to share my sessions for November. I did this session, like I said, on November 2nd. So let me show you what I have here as I'm looking into the future to see what's going to happen this month, November 2021 here. So here's my sessions. Let's take a look here. My tasking here, November 2021, viewer will describe events that occur and are reported in the media during the month of November 2021 here. And again here, my personal inclemency, I felt tired. I was feeling pretty tired going into this. I didn't feel as well connected as I did last month, just because I've had a real kind of stressful month here. But I did my best. I tried something different. I closed my eyes and just every thought that came to mind, I wrote down here. Some of this stuff is an obvious, not hard to guess if it's going to come out because it's in the news already, but something about vaccine efficiency. I wrote it wrong. Story about switched at birth. Something about machine learning and algorithms. The Dutch, burst, cloud, sunbeam, restricted, restrictions, sanctions, AI gasp. Wow, it's serious. I'm wondering if this is some of the vaccine stuff. Something about the Strait of Gibraltar, and then fish, flying fish. Is there a shortage? Is there death? Are they killed? Is there contaminated water? I think if I try this again next month, I should probe each one of these things and see if I can expand that and see if they are actually happening in the news. So I'm going to be looking at this list at the end of the month to see if any of this was accurate or just my imagination. If so, next month when I do my world events, I'm going to try probing those stories a little bit deeper. Then I got into my sessions here. My first event here was messy, chaotic, energetic. I had an AI of wow, wonder, intense, and then a rainstorm. This is my storm event here. Rain sounds. Hey, I heard like the hail hitting metal on car roofs. And then it just expressive and a burst. And I had an AOL of lightning. It was frightening. It was scary. And I had just this big flash of light coming down. I don't know if that's lighting. I don't know what that was. Just this big flash coming down. It was intense, ferocious hailstorm, rain. In a warmer climate, maybe climate, flash floods, mud. Is this in an Asian country? I'm not sure. I saw somebody running with like a newspaper and shorts. I think they were like blue shorts and sandals, and they were just running, trying to protect themselves, but they weren't running fast enough. I was like, wow, they're moving kind of slow as they're doing this. They were crouching, they were ducking, they were hiding. It made me nervous. I had an AL of a gunshot. I'm wondering, is that thunder? And then as I'm going through this portion, I said it's almost in slow motion. The person is moving too calm for what the situation warrants. Is it hail? Is it rain? Is it bullets? What was most interesting to me, it was the first or the fall crack echo. Was it a lightning strike? This is intense. Does it hit a tree? I just felt like there was a video of a boom. Maybe it was lightning hitting a tree. Maybe it was a gunshot. I don't know, but it was just that sound. Okay, moving on to event 2. Structure, mountain journey. What's this say? Plentiful, bountiful, immersed. That says Canada. Searing, pinched. I don't know what that says. Land, clot. Not sure what my writing says here. But look, moving on here. Zigzag, rounding. That's flat, wide, cold, hilly, damp, dark. So we're moving on. I said, I like this. This is a feel-good story. And I got this story about, I AOL'd her as a hippie, some kind of reunion, a dog reunion, happy, joyous. It was a woman with gray hair. She's smiling. She feels happy. I like a Woodstock feel to her, just kind of a free spirit. And this was an older woman with a headband. That's my horrible drawing, and her dog licking her face, like a woman reunited with her dog and it licks her face. And I had the word scandal there. What's most interesting about this? Just the love and the compassion reminded me of my dog. Something about an animal shelter, and it was the last hope, but a great story and inspiring. I liked getting that data. Now, as soon as I was done this session, literally, I guess as I was doing the session, I got an alert on my phone, and a girl was kidnapped in Australia, and she was found. So I'm wondering if I had elements of that story and just got the data wrong, which is possible. So again, an area for improvement for me there with my feedback that I'll look at a little bit closer at the end of the month. I'm getting into the habit now. I really only look at the news after I do my world events session at the end of the month. It's helped in a lot of ways too, just because I don't want to front load myself too much. So I'll spend like a week looking at news at the end of last month, beginning of this month, and then I go silent for a couple of weeks on it. All right, event 3. Let's see here. Where are we at? All right. Newsworthy, trustworthy, tower, dark. I saw this dark building, and this is one here. I'm wondering if this is 2 or 3 events in one, or if this is just one big metaphor, or if it's something literal. I had a mixed sense of feelings. Is this multiple stories, or is it one thing that means something else? So I saw a dark building, and my S3.5, like when the lights go out. So some kind of blackout. I kept saying, like, this feels like a metaphor. Is it a storm, a solar storm, a wind tunnel? There's something else here, an experiment gone wrong. What was most interesting to me on this, and I've really been trying to focus on with this movement, what's interesting to me. I don't just write, so in my mind, I'm thinking, what would I be interested in as I'm reviewing my feedback here? Wet, smooth, slime. I had an aesthetic impact of like, wow, some energetics or energized or sparked, a spark, curiosity. It was as if there was too much energy, charges. It gets brighter. And I heard it's like, and then a burst, and it stopped, and everything went black. There was silence, just a deafening silence. And then people were curious and wondering. And then I switched and I saw this, and I said, this feels boring to me. Why is this important? Calm, stillness. And then I had AOLs of debt and finances, and an AOL of a river, a crack, or a crevice. I will say other viewers had this. They were looking at it as an earth event, like some kind of fissure in the ground. Oh, I did write fissure down there. I was interpreting this as a metaphor, but looking at some other viewers' data, I'm not sure. There might be some kind of crack that appears, but I called it the Great Divide, a break or a crack. And again, it feels like a metaphor. So this feels like either too much energy that causes a malfunction and blackout, or a metaphor for a concept that is above me or boring to me but significant, i.e. finances. And I heard moves and counter moves, which is a quote from the Hunger Games, which I watched about 2 weeks ago. All right, event number 4. What's going on here? Scarring, burning, heat, natural, sun. I had the term occupation. And I drew what looked like the sun here with some kind of line in front of it, and almost like a brown or desert or hazy here. I had fog, haze, pollution, rising temperatures. This part here, this yellow disc was moving further away. I could see heat waves. My B here is that black line, cut, piercing, pinching. And then I got this impression of hourglassing. So whatever this yellow shape is, which I thought was the sun, was kind of getting pinched in the middle, which you can see in this shape here. And then the bottom, wavy, dry, rising temps. And then I had the Coriolis effect. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I think that's the spin of the Earth. I think that's what that's called. So we'll see. Keep going, though, to sketch what is most interesting to me. Natural tundra, something that was never seen or observed before. And I got this impression that whatever this is connects dots for me. It's a piece of the puzzle, and I'm concerned but excited for the mystery. And this is what happens to me when I'm looking through the news for my podcast or something, and I see a story and I go, oh yes, this connects. And then I start the movie starts in my mind. So I felt like whatever this event is, it's going to connect things for me, and I'm going to get excited about it. It's probably scary stuff though. What's the most important aspect of this event? I wrote sea urchin, sea creature, whale. And then I had borealis, ship navigation, seen at sea. Something is different or changed. Is it with navigation, magnetism, Earth's crust, AI? This is big. So I don't know. Is it some kind of electromagnetic storm or something that's going to cause us some trouble? I'm not sure. And then I ended it there just simply because I was exhausted. So I didn't come, I'm going to be clear, I didn't come out of this session feeling great. Last month, I felt pretty good. And I think my data speaks for itself. This month, I'm just not sure. So we'll see. But like I said, I'm trying to push through as a remote viewer. I've noticed my life seems to be just stressful all the time lately. But the approach I took, and my teacher holds a similar outlook on it, is we're not always going to have a quiet, clean room to go remote view. Yes, that's ideal, but I try to train myself, be able to remote view anywhere. And this month, my thoughts were on remote viewing. I've really been thinking about this as that mental martial art. I did a podcast talking about a spiritual experience I had that's been pretty intense for me. I keep coming back to remote viewing and how I've been trying to use remote viewing to navigate parts of this journey. And as I'm going through a wide range of emotions, I've been trying to pay attention to my emotions, my thoughts, the various signals that are coming into me. And it's been very hard. It's been very defeating. But again, and I keep telling myself, this is a mental martial art. I remember my interviews with Edward, and he's said on my podcast, like, remote viewing can kick your ass. And I think that's what I'm going through. It just shifts your worldview. It shifts your understanding of things, and not everybody else experiences those things with you. So it can be lonely at times outside of the RV community. So I don't know. I'm going through stuff, but I'm taking pride in the mental martial art of remote viewing. Wherever it leads me, I'm in this. I'm a part of this. I've wanted this for a long time. So, do you guys experience that as you're going through life and the changes that remote viewing brings to you? I just noticed how I process information is evolving here. So, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on my data? I want to say thank you to everybody who continually reaches out to me each month. I enjoy our conversations, your enthusiasm, and the feedback that you give me. It's great, and I'm just so thankful for all of you in this community that we have growing here, for your continued support. So just want to say thank you, my friends. I'm Dennis Nappy II with 6th Sense Media, where small changes among the masses can have a massive impact around the world. Remember to be that change, never stop questioning, keep an open mind, and let your intuition be your guide. Thanks, friends.